Nathan fell on his knees. The adrenaline that allowed him to withstand a dozen of David's kicks has faded away, and the pain caught up to him. Nant, no! Antonio dashed to his friend, worried. I'm fine, Antonio. Just a little tired, is all. Nathan brushed it off. How about you? Antonio closed his eyes and tilted his head in shame. I'm fine, but I couldn't do anything. Gregory spat in my eyes, and that was all it took to get me to let go of my blade. Meanwhile, you took a dozen kicks from the biggest bug I've ever seen, like it was nothing. If it wasn't for Dara, the blade would have been lost. Antonio, get yourself together, Nathan strictly ordered. First of all, this was the first battle you've ever been in. Nathan made a painful expression before continuing. Second, the blade is still here. We should focus on what is and not what could have been. Remember that, always. Are you sure you're alright? You look like you're in pain. Dara meddled. I'm fine, really. Nathan was stubborn. Dara is right, you need to rest, Nant, Antonio insisted. No time. Besides, if you think this is bad, you should have seen how I looked when I fought Hercules. Nathan smiled and got up. Speaking of the mad lad, he turned towards Hercules, who was also slowly getting up. You good, hero? Nathan teased his old friend. Hercules looked at Nathan and grinned. Never been better. Head hurts a little from the fall, but I'll be fine. Good. Unlike our intruders, we managed to escape relatively unharmed, Nathan said as he looked at the giant severed leg that was lying next to Hercules. Who the hell were those guys anyway? Dara asked. Well, if I'm correct, their boss, Edgar, was at Gregor's place at the same time as we were. He mentioned, overhearing me mention to Gregor, that the blades we're carrying are none other than the Ozara's feather blades. Considering their immeasurable value, I would assume that's what they were after. Those are Ozara's blades? Hercules was shocked, seeing the magnificent weapons in front of him. Yes. And you told that greedy old bastard about it? Hercules was now shocked at the incredible foolishness of his friend's act. Yeah, not my wisest decision, Nathan admitted. No shit, Hercules was frustrated. So, Antonio calmed down and asked, what do we do now, Nathan? Where do we go? Nathan thought for a moment, then said, well, first we see with them. He looked at Hercules, then at Dara, and asked them what. What about you? Well, since I can't stay here, you're gonna pay for the damage by allowing me to be your companion in this mission you're on, Hercules said with a smile. All right, but you've seen how dangerous this journey is, so don't say I didn't warn you when someone kicks your ugly butt. Nathan mocked his friend. Says someone who looks even more beat up than when I fought ya. Hercules mocked back. And you, Dara? Nathan looked at the old ladybug, who seemed quite shaken by all the things that have happened. I'm sorry. I think I want to stay here. I'm sorry. Dara felt guilty. You don't have to apologize, Dara. We understand. You have the trial I gave you, so you should be able to survive for a bit, but try to find some kind of job if you can. Something that's not begging on the rotten streets of this fallen city, Nathan said sentimentally. I will, Nathan. Thank you, Dara replied. Dara! Antonio came close to the purple ladybug and hugged her. Thank you. Antonio let go of her and added, without you, The Cotido trio would have stolen my blade. I. You're welcome. Dara smiled. Antonio, Ned called out for him. Let's go. We got no time to waste. Bye, Dara, and good luck. Antonio ran to his two co-adventurers. Bye, Antonio. Bye, Nathan. Hercules. Thank you. Dara stayed in the torn-down house for a while, watching the three get farther and farther away, until they became just three little dots. A few minutes have passed since the three left Hercules' old house. They were moving in silence for a few more minutes before Antonio finally asked, Where are we headed? Oh, right. Sorry, again. Nathan once again forgot that he should tell his companion where they are going when he decides they should go somewhere. You see, Hercules suggested something really smart, and smart is not something you hear often from him. Ha! Hercules laughed, but was visibly irritated. And that is? Antonio was curious. Well, if there is one bug that would know something about the knights, especially the knights born in Beetlefield, that would have to be him. Nathan responded to Antonio's question. I don't think I'm following. Who is him? Antonio did not understand. Well, the King of Beetlefield, of course. Nathan turned to Antonio and made a gesture with his top legs, imitating a person wearing a crown. King Stagiron the Great. Whoa! Antonio looked at Hercules. Are we really going to see the king? Antonio was excited. Yeah, bet we are, kid. Hercules gave Antonio a high one. Yes, Hercules knows where the palace is located, so we're headed that way, Nathan added. A few more minutes have passed, and the three entered the tunnel that Hercules said led to the palace. Say, Antonio, how much do you know about King Stagiron? Nathan asked. Not that much, Antonio admitted. I know that he's a stag beetle and that he's old, like really old, but that's about it. Well, we have a few more minutes to go before we get to the palace, right, Hercules? Yup, Hercules nodded. Good. Nathan glanced at Antonio. I think you should know a little more than the king's age, so how about I tell you about him? Sure, I love your stories. All right then, listen. King Stagiron, also known as Stagiron the Great, is one of the oldest bugs in whole of Castania. He's older than our Queen Elderanta, and he was a personal friend with our previous queen, Queen Atlantia too. Some even say that he's as old as Master King Dabir himself. Bobont told me stories from when he was a child. Anthill and Beetlefield have always been in good terms with one another. That was mostly due to respect King Stagiron earned throughout the seasons. Nathan got very close to Antonio's face, then whispered, Some even say... He made a dramatic pause before continuing. Some say that he had a romantic affair with Queen Atlantia. What? Antonio's mouth got wide open, and so did his eyes, before Nathan put his leg on Antonio's mouth, saying, Shh! Those are just... unconfirmed rumors, one would call them. Ha! Hercules laughed and commented, Not gonna lie, your queen is quite a lady, if I say so. I wouldn't be surprised if old Stagiron wanted a piece of... Ouch! Nathan hit Hercules. Do not disrespect our queen. Nathan was serious. But I wasn't... Enough! Nathan raised one of his top legs, gesturing that it was the end of the conversation. Anyhow, King Stagiron is well known around Castana, not only due to his age and wisdom, but also due to him uniting all kinds of beetle folks together. As you know, unlike us ants, there are dozens, if not hundreds of types of beetles, and a long time ago, they would never get along with each other. That was until Stagaron came along and, with both his incredible might and amazing diplomatic skills, showed that if they were united, they could live in a much better and safer place. This was more than enough for Stagaron to earn the trust of every beetle, and this is precisely why, besides Anthill, Beetlefield is the only kingdom which has never had any rebellion. Anyone trying to overtake the throne, a sin far too common in the rest of Castana. Especially these damned wasps, Hercules added. Those bastards kill each other every other season or something crazy like that. Not really that often, but you get the point, Nathan said. Wow, the King of Beetles sounds like a really great guy. Antonio then turned to Hercules and asked, Are you sure he's going to let us visit? Ha, kid, of course he'll let us, Hercules was confident. Why are you so certain, Hercules? Nathan's curiosity was piqued too. Heh, well, that's simple, Nathan. The future of entire Castana depends on it, that's why, Hercules answered, as the three finally reached the front of the palace. Meanwhile, the entrance to the Beetlefield city. The old dung beetle was still in shock after witnessing not one, but two ants enter Beetlefield an hour or two ago. So one could imagine the further shock he felt when yet another lone ant showed up, requesting to enter the tunnel that led to the city above. How much for you to let me through? Tan asked in a serious tone. What's up with you ants today? Was there a rebellion or something? I doubt Elderanta would open Anthill's gates. All of a sudden, answer my question. Tan was impatient. He mentioned other ants. This must mean Antonio was here. So I was right. They are in Beetlefield. Tan thought to himself. The old beetle looked irritated by Tan's rudeness, but answered nonetheless. For Trau. Tan gave the required Trau to the guard, and the latter lifted the heavy gate for the third time that same day. Tan passed through with 50 Trau left to his name, and the old beetle let the heavy gate down. I remember ant folks being much nicer. I guess times have changed, the old beetle mumbled to himself. Yet he could not help but smile, for he could feel that something big was happening around him, and while he may never know what exactly, it makes him happy to feel like he was a part of it, a part of something big, something that would change Castana forever.